demand that
Why the main market is in chaos? People
Israeli airstrikes activity and arrested 17 suspects in the Niger Delta region. The army further said no fewer than 25,000 liters of stolen products were recovered during a raid of selected spots in Rivers, Bayelsa, and Delta states. The acting deputy director, 6th Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Danjuma, disclosed this in a statement issued in Port Harcourt, Rivers State's capital, on Sunday. Danjuma stated that troops of 6th Division Nigerian Army, working closely with other security agencies, will continue to dominate the operational landscape and deny criminal elements freedom of action. Speaking, the General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Emmanuel Emeka, commended the troops and charged them to sustain the operational tempo in order to deny economic saboteurs any freedom to carry out their nefarious activities in the region. The recent revelation by former military head of state Ibrahim Babangida that acknowledged that Moshood Abiola won the 1993 presidential election has continued to generate public reactions. Even when some analysts believe that the confession is late in coming, the issue will likely dominate the public space for a long time because of the impact of the annulment of the election on social, political, and economic development of the country. Correspondent Raymond Kenbata examines the background to the recent revelations by the former military president as contained in his book, A Journey in Service.
The book, which offers insights into key moments in the country's history, also addresses other national controversies, including the 1976 coup attempt that led to the assassination of the then head of state, Murtala Muhammad, and the 1986 letter bomb that killed investigative journalist Dele Giwa. The 1993 election, which was part of General Ibrahim Babangida's transition program aimed at returning Nigeria to civilian rule, had two main candidates, Moshood Abiola of the Social Democratic Party and Bashiru Tofa of the National Republican Convention, with Abiola winning the election with a majority of votes in 19 of the 30 states, securing 58.4% of the total votes cast. Babangida annulled the election, citing a court order obtained by a group that called itself Association for a Better Nigeria, led by Otto Nzeribe, which sparked widespread protests and violence across the country, culminating in clashes between security forces and demonstrators, leading to loss of many lives and property and period of uncertainty and instability. Former President Ibrahim Babangida acknowledged that Moshood Abiola won the 1993 presidential election, fulfilling the two key constitutional requirements, majority votes and geographical spread.
Credible, free and fair elections were held on June 12, 1993. As the leader of the military administration, I accept full responsibility for all decisions taken under my watch. And June 12 happened under my watch. Mistakes, oversights, and missteps happened in quick succession. But I say in my book, in all matters we acted in the supreme national interest so that Nigeria could survive. Our nation's march to democracy was interrupted, a fact that I deeply regret, but Nigeria survived, and democracy
128,720 votes, surpassing Bashiru Tofa's 5,848,247 votes, and obtained the mandatory one-third of votes in 28 states, including Abuja. The June 12 presidential election, conducted by the Professor Humphrey Nwosu-led National Electoral Commission of Nigeria, is still reputed as Nigeria's freest and fairest election. A security expert, Jackson Lekon Ojo, expressed disappointment that the winner of the 1993 polls, MKO Abiola, was not alive to reap the benefits of the belated expose by General Babangida.
It's like this man, the former military president, just came yesterday to pour salt upon an injury because the injury incurred by Nigerians from the annulment of June 12 is still very fresh in our blood, in our body. So somebody is now coming to tactically from the back door to reconcile after he must have damaged a lot of things. You understand? To me, it is not a welcome development at all. And I can't say kudos to him. What had been damaged that time had been damaged and there had been no repair. So there is no point somebody is coming to gather some persons and to want to confess that M. Abiola won the election. No. Nigerians knew then that M. Abiola won the election. The only thing that happened was the military president that time annulled that election. So we don't want anybody to say MK won the election. We knew that he won the election. There are a lot of confessions that by Humphrey Nwosu that confessed that he won the election. Professor Omoruyi came out that time and confessed that he won the election. So we don't want anybody to come and tell us that he won the election. He won the election, and we don't want to hear it from any other person.
A journalist and public affairs analyst, Olaleko Ige, also bared his mind on the recent revelations by IBB.
What is new is that he's not telling Nigerians that he was not aware that that election was annulled. He's not telling Nigerians that it was the second in command, late Augustus Aikomu, was the one who annulled that election, and it was not to his knowledge. I think that's the only new thing Nigeria are now hearing, because for those of us that were quite active then in 1993, and for a lot of Nigerians who knew Babangida then, Babangida told all of us that it was not only in power, it was in government. So I'm shocked, I'm surprised that Babangida is not telling us that there were a lot of powerful people in his administration that couldn't control. He's just mentioned one of them, Augustus Aikomo. He's just mentioned even probably the most significant of them all, Sani Abacha. Babangida has now admitted to us now that he couldn't control Sani Abacha, or he was rather afraid of Sani Abacha. And that is new because if you watch the events that dovetailed into the annulment of June 12 and the aftermath of setting up an interim national government, then you begin to wonder, is Babangida really telling Nigerians all of the truth?
The events surrounding the 1993 national presidential elections in Nigeria offer several lessons for Nigerian leaders, including the fact that the annulment of the election results was a clear disregard for the will of the Nigerian people. It also brought to the fore the fact that the use of court orders and other tactics to annul the election results undermined the legitimacy of the government. The election and its aftermath had no doubt highlighted the deep-seated divisions within the Nigerian society, emphasizing the need for leaders to promote unity and inclusivity while ensuring that justice, equity, fairness, and good conscience prevail at all times. I am Raymond Ken Mbata, reporting for Signature TV.
Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on Sunday inaugurated the newly elected local government chairman and councillors in the Saturday poll. Adeleke, while inaugurating the chairman and councillors, urged them to focus on good governance while warning against any attempts to forcibly occupy council secretariats. He also expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for resisting attempts by some forces to destabilize Osun State. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony in Osogbo, the governor described the occasion as a major milestone in the state's democratic process, emphasizing that the election was conducted in line with the due process. The governor recounted the journey leading to the local government election, stating that the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission had duly followed all legal procedures. The governor also called for a minute of silence in honor of those who lost their lives during the illegal APC takeover of local government secretariats. Earlier on Saturday, the newly elected chairman of the 30 local government councils in Osun State have received their certificates of return. The Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, OSEC, said that the People's Democratic Party, PDP, swept all the chairmanship and councillorship positions in the southwestern state. A day after the commission presented the commissioners with their certificates, the commission's information officer, Sadiat Isiaka, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday. She said that the OSEC chairman, Barrister Hashim Abioye, congratulated the elected chairman of their victory, and urged them to be good ambassadors of democracy, both in conduct and service to the people. The state chapter of the People's Democratic Party has commended electorates for exercising their democratic rights on Saturday's local government elections. BC also condemned the violence that occurred days to the election, calling on the security agencies to arrest one Ademoroti Adeboye. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has defied a federal high court order by proceeding with the election of zonal committee members and national ex-officio representatives for the Northeast region. The election held in Bauchi State on Saturday came a day after Justice Obiora Atuegu Egwatu of the Federal High Court in Abuja issued an order restraining the party from conducting the poll. The ruling, delivered on February 21, 2025, directed the PDP and its leadership to maintain the status quo pending further proceedings scheduled for February 25, 2025. Despite the court's directive, the PDP proceeded with the Congress, where Babangida Motipo Umar emerged as the new Northeast Zonal Chairman. The election, which took place at the Riwanu Suleiman Adamu Square Government House, Bauchi, saw all 22 contestants elected unopposed. The Congress was attended by key figures, including the acting national chairman of the PDP, Ambassador Umar Iliya Damagum, and governors from Adamawa, Bauchi, and Taraba states. Other notable attendees included Senator Abdul Ahmed Ningi, Senator Hassan Dankombo, former Bauchi State Governor Ahmed Adamu Muazu, and several national and state assembly members. Meanwhile, the PDP's national leadership hailed the Congress as a demonstration of the party's unity and strength ahead of its national convention. Newly elected zonal chairman Babangida Motipo expressed gratitude to the delegates and pledged to uphold their confidence in him. He takes over from Reverend Emmanuel Bovoa of Taraba State. Still to come, NAFDAC seals over 11,000 shops, arrests 40 for substandard drugs. Sokoto State government steps up fight against insecurity. These and more after the break. Just stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Welcome back. This is Global News on Signature TV. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has reported 80 deaths from 413 confirmed Lassa fever cases across 11 states during the epidemiological week 6 February 3rd to 9th, 2025. The NCDC disclosed this information on its official website, noting that the case fatality rate, CFR, had risen to 19.4%, up from 17.5% in the same period in 2024. The latest Lassa fever situation reports reveal that 73% of confirmed cases came from Ondo, Edo, and Bauchi states, and Ondo leading at 34%, followed by Edo 21% and Bauchi 18%. The NCDC pointed to poor health-seeking behavior, high treatment costs, and limited awareness in high-burden communities as major challenges. The NCDC states that it was also collaborating with the World Health Organization (WHO), Medicine Sans Frontiers (MSF), and the International Research Center of Excellence to improve diagnosis, treatment, and outbreak response. The NCDC stated that Lassa fever is preventable and encouraged Nigerians to stay informed and take action to protect themselves and their loved ones. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, says over 11,000 shops have been sealed and 40 individuals arrested in its ongoing nationwide clampdown on fake and substandard medicines. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojishoya Adeyeye, disclosed this to newsmen in Lagos. Adeyeye said that the enforcement was planned over a year as covert operations. NAFDAC on February 10th commenced enforcement operations at the Idumota Drug Markets, Araria Drug Markets in Aba, and Bridge Market in Onitsha. According to the agency, the enforcement operations at the three markets, which are the hub of distributions of over 80% of medications, will rid the country of falsified and unregistered drugs. Adeyeye said that over 20 trucks of substandard drugs were evacuated at different locations in Aba. Not less than 30 trucks of confiscated drugs were seized in Onitsha, while 27 trucks were evacuated at Idumota Market. The DG commended the leadership of the National Security Agency NSA for providing adequate security for the operations, noting that the exercise was made possible through their support to NAFDAC. Adeyeye said the agency would continue its fight against perpetrators of counterfeit and falsified drugs in the country. A non-governmental organization, Seizure Support Foundation, has called on the government and voluntary organizations to provide support and voluntary services to persons with special needs. The executive director of the foundation, Dr. Chigi Chinagora, made the call during a training session for students at the Federal University of Allied Health Sciences, Transikulu, ENUGU. Signature TV correspondent Chinebe Kimberlin witnessed the session.
Seizures are sudden temporary disturbances in brain function that can alter a person's behavior, sensation, or consciousness. Various factors can trigger seizures, including epilepsy, head injuries, infection, and certain medications. The Seizure Support Foundation recognizes the importance of comprehensive training, including cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. A medical practitioner and CEO of Seizure Support Foundation, Dr. Chigi Chiagorom, highlighted the significance of empowering the younger generation to be more responsive and proactive in healthcare. She said that by leveraging their digital strengths, they can drive positive change, particularly in providing first aid and CPR. The comprehensive approach, according to her, can enhance community responsiveness and improve health outcomes.
I didn't grow up or start off wanting to fly a non-governmental organization. It was a personal experience with my son. I was trying to reach out when his own issue started. I was trying to reach out to organizations that cater to children with special needs. I was trying to reach out to find respite. I was trying to reach out to find support because I was a young mother. I was doing other things. I had other kids. It was kind of like a little too much for me, but I couldn't find any sort of organization who cater to such people. So I had a friend, he's late now, God rest his soul, a doctor. He was one that said, "Chigi, why don't you start an NGO?" I laughed it off, but here we are today, right? Doing the very same thing, trying to bring awareness, respite, support, advocacy, for kids with special needs. First of all, we are looking to train 1,000 individuals in 2025 because the question is why now and why CPR? So yes, CPR because there's been a lot of cases, increased incidence of slump and die, even drowning. You know what happened to Junior Pope, and other cases that didn't even make the media.
The guest speaker, Chisom Ayogo, highlighted the impact of selfless service, encouraging students to think creatively and offer solutions and values in their society.
Every one of us seated in this place, we are being called to begin to think solution. Be part of the solution. There is already enough trouble in the society. There is already enough challenges here and there. So what would you do to add? Sometimes we say government is not doing this, government is not doing that. But you see, Seizure Support Foundation could have been saying the same thing. Government, are they not seeing all these people that are having these issues? But this is them contributing their quota. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, I can tell you that. So what can you and I begin to do in our small spaces to add to the society?
The Dean of Student Affairs, Federal University of Allied Health Science, Ngozi Okafor, and the personal assistant to the Vice Chancellor, Ifeanyi Opoke, shared insights on the impact of the training on students and the society.
We have a population now in the school, and before now too, I've encountered one of our students walking towards the classroom, and all of a sudden he went off, hitting his head on the wall. And what we did then was to call on one of our medical directors that came around to work on him, and that they actually observed what he was doing as well. And that was why, and some of the students they were confused. I was also confused, but then with this coming on board now, and we all being part of it, I think we will learn a lot from it to help people in future.
At the end of this program, we are going to come and examine you, cross-examination, to know how many of us that can be able to do the CPR. It's not about coming here to listen. We don't want to listen. This place is a practical institution.
Chidera Okoye, a nurse, provided a comprehensive overview of seizures, using the safety guide to illustrate how to attend to a seizure patient. including postictal care. Dr. Emmanuel Carlo, a cardiophysiotherapist, and his team of medical experts shared their expertise on resuscitating patients who fainted using the CPR method.
Okay, so the causes of seizure may differ depending on the condition of the patient at hand. It may be epilepsy. Sometimes you may find out it may be a brain tumor. It can even be an infection, a high fever. So anything that is capable of disturbing the electrical charges of the brain can cause a seizure. Although there's a misconception that epileptic patients mostly have seizure, or it has been disproved a lot of times. There are several causes. So the identification is not for us. What we came here to do is to teach students.
Video. We can get them to do something that will be more productive. So take control of the environment. You can delegate someone. You can delegate someone to clear the environment and then get maybe the nearest ambulance.
Sponsors and students share their thoughts on the program.
Honestly, this is a worthy of emulation, and I want to tell the people out there, or any organization or even company that have not followed up this procedure of helping people, I advise you to do as much as you can to join up, because I believe if you have multiple people to help, that will be a kind of easy off to people, especially the less privileged out there. So my advice to everyone today is, in anywhere you are, even in school, try to give up what you have or what you have learned to save humanity.
I'd like to first of all appreciate the program organizers that came to the school to teach us about seizure and CPR, how we are going to attend to patients who unconsciously have issues.
Mostly I watched a documentary on TV about the seizure brain cells, so I see how people suffer a lot, because you see if somebody in the public will just start vibrating and just start falling on the ground, nobody is there to, nobody knows about it, so nobody can help the person. Instead, we Nigerians will just carry our phone, start videoing. But this group now, they came here to tell us how we can help others.
The procedure they taught us on like how to position the person, what to tell the person when the person is in that kind of situation. I don't know that if you do it according to the way we are being taught, the person will actually recover and get himself.
The event featured a question and answer session where students and facilitators engaged in a proactive discussion. With this training, the Seizure Supports Foundation aims to empower young minds to make a difference in their communities, promoting a culture of selfless services and volunteerism. Chinemerem Ikebuna, Signature TV News.
The Nigerian Medical Association has appealed to the federal government to ensure the health budgets positively impacts the lives of doctors and health workers. Its first Vice President, Dr. Benjamin Olowo-Jebutu, said this in an interview on Sunday in Lagos. Nigeria's 2025 health budget is 2.48 trillion naira, which is 5.1% of the total budget, a significant increase from the 2024 budget, which allocated 1.23 trillion naira to health. Olowo-Jebutu said there were or are issues around accountability and budgeting for healthcare, stressing that the impact of healthcare funds was yet to be reflected in infrastructure, remuneration, and training. The NMA leader noted that efforts should be made to ensure the country's doctor-to-patient ratio align with the World Health Organization standard to improve patient safety. Olowo-Jebutu lamented the chief medical directors of hospitals are oftentimes driven by profit or internally generated revenue, without much thought to the workload impact on staff. Olowo-Jebutu underscored the need for collective action to fight against tyranny and lack of accountability in medical practice. He also called for judicious use of healthcare budgets to improve service delivery to patients, better working conditions and welfare for healthcare workers, and health outcomes for communities. In a bid to tackle the lingering security challenges in Sokoto State, the state government, in collaboration with the Movement for Social Justice, has organized a stakeholder security conference. The conference brought together traditional rulers, community leaders, security experts, and government officials to prefer solutions to the security challenges facing the state. Speaking at the conference, Governor Ahmed Aliyu stated that his administration, upon assumption of office, took far-reaching measures to address the dwindling security situation inherited from his predecessor. Governor Aliyu revealed that his administration has established the Sokoto State Community Guard Corps to provide additional security support to the state.
Distinguished audience, prior to our coming, there were a number of communities that were under the control of bandits who dictate to locals what they do. They deny our peasants from going to farms, and most of times ransack villages, kill innocent souls, burn houses, and also addict people for ransom. This was a picture of the ugly situation that we met. Alhamdulillah, upon assumption of office, we took drastic measures to change the troublous situation through collaboration with conventional security forces in the state.
Vote of thanks, the chairman of the Movement for Social Justice, Comrade Bashir Altain Guyawa, lauded the courage of the state government for actualization of the conference.
On behalf of the Movement for Social Justice Sokoto State Chapter, I wish to thank the Sokoto State government for its commitment to the security and the well-being of the people of Sokoto, particularly those ravaged by the menace of banditry in Sokoto East. For the return of peace in Sokoto East, Movement for Social Justice Sokoto State had been actively involved in the campaign for the return of peace and stability in areas affected by the violent conflict. Our campaign advocacy activities, enlightenment program, and the stakeholders' engagement are meant to provide solutions in our society.
The conference also featured the presentation of awards to His Excellency Governor Ahmed Aliyu and the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Ibrahim Dadi Adare, by the Chairman of the Movement for Social Justice, Bashir Altain Guyawa, in recognition of their outstanding efforts to end banditry in the zone in particular and the state in general. In a significant move to drive economic growth and development, President Bola Tinubu held a strategic meeting with the leadership of Flutterwave, Africa's leading payments technology company. The discussions focused on fostering youth empowerment, small and medium-sized enterprise, SME development, and expansion of Nigeria's digital economy. The meeting builds on the Federal Ministry of Youth Development's recent Memorandum of Understanding with Flutterwave, aimed at enhancing mentorship programs, providing access to startup funding, and promoting skill development for young Nigerians. Minister for Youth Development, Honorable Ayodele Olawande, emphasized the importance of his initiative in fulfilling the renewed hope agenda and highlighted the roles of the NYSC and CLTC in delivering training and mentorship opportunities that will equip young Nigerians with essential entrepreneurial skills. Olubenga Abuola, founder and CEO of Flutterwave, reaffirmed the company's commitment to supporting Nigerian youth and SMEs through technology-driven solutions that drive long-term economic impact. He emphasized the significance of public-private partnerships in fostering innovation and sustainable growth. President Tinubu concluded the meeting by highlighting the vital role of collaborative efforts in empowering Nigeria's youth and business community. He reiterated his administration's dedication to equipping the next generation with necessary tools to succeed in a competitive and rapidly evolving global economy. The Naira appreciated by 16 Naira against the dollar at the parallel markets on a week-on-week basis. Analysis of the exchange rate in the black market from 17 to 21st February 2025 showed that the Naira gained 16 Naira to close at 1,505 per dollar from the 1,565 exchange on February 14, 2025 in the black market. This showed that the Naira had an impressive run at the parallel foreign exchange before it depreciated on Friday to 1,505 per dollar. The Naira fell on Saturday to 1,510 per dollar at the parallel foreign exchange. At the official market, the Naira gained 7.9 against the dollar to close at 1,500 on Friday, 21st February, from 1,508 traded on February 14, 2025, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria exchange rate data. The development comes as Bismarck Rewani, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Derivatives, on Friday said that the Central Bank of Nigeria has spent almost $8 billion in defending the Naira in the last few months. Still to come, Ukrainian community in Athens joins march marking 3 years of Ukraine war. Spanish students and teachers rally in Madrid to defend public education. These and more for the break. Do stay with us.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was...
Why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Members of the Green Party showed relief about the relatively small losses following the projected results for the German election on Sunday. The Greens are projected to come in fourth with 12.4%, a loss of 2.3% compared to the previous election, making it the smallest loss for all three parties who have garnered or governed Germany in the last years. The winner of the elections are expected to be the Conservative Party, currently projected to take first place with 28.5%, while the far-right Alternative for Germany is coming in second with a projected historical result of 20%. The Social Democrats, who were also part of the three-way German government, suffered a historical loss and are currently in third place with 16.3%. The third member of the previous government, the Liberal Party, FDP, might not meet the 5% threshold and not make it into the new parliament. Meanwhile, Germany's conservatives will do everything they can to form a government capable of taking action as quickly as possible, Chancellor candidate Friedrich Merz says on Sunday.
We won because the CDU and the CSU worked well together, and we prepared very, very well for this election and also for the assumption of government responsibility. First of all, I would like to thank Markus Söder, the leader of the CSU. Many thanks for the very, very good cooperation between the CDU and the CSU. But now we're going to talk to each other, and the main thing is to create a government in Germany that is capable of acting as quickly as possible, with a good parliamentary majority. Because, dear friends, the world out there is not waiting for us, and it is not waiting for lengthy coalition talks and negotiations. We must now quickly regain our ability to act so that we can do the right thing at home, so that we can be present in Europe again, so that the world realizes that Germany is being governed reliably again. That's what the conservatives stand for, that's what we stand for, and that's what I personally stand for. Now we will have to wait for some more election results, but the result is clear, and what have I been saying for the last few days? Tonight, Rambo Zambo is allowed here at Konrad Adenauer House. Tonight we will celebrate.
Institute aimed for a test. Merz's conservatives scored just under 30%. The far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, came in second with just 20%, while Chancellor Olaf Scholz's Social Democrats, SPD, secured 16.2% of support. A result Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, who is a member of the SPD, called catastrophic on public broadcaster ARD. Meanwhile, an American Airlines AALO.O flight from New York to New Delhi was diverted to Rome on Sunday due to a security concern later determined to be non-credible. The airline said, adding the flight landed safely in Rome and will depart for Delhi on Monday. The flight, which departed from the John F. Kennedy International Airport, had been heading to the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi. Law enforcement in Rome is inspected and cleared the aircraft to redepart, it said. The flight will stay overnight in Rome to allow for required crew to rest before continuing to Delhi on Monday, the company says. The Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner flight with about 200 people on board landed at Rome's Leonardo da Vinci's airport at about 16:20 GMT, according to airport sources. The plane was over the Caspian Sea when the airline warned the crew of a bomb threat, sources added. Meanwhile, Japanese Defense Minister Jen Nakatani visited the military base in La Union province, north of the Philippines' capital, Manila, on Sunday to inspect a mobile air surveillance radar system sent by Japan as part of the landmark defense pact agreed last year between the two countries. Japan and the Philippines signed a 1.6 billion yen security assistance deal in December 2024 to boost the Southeast Asian nation's maritime security and surveillance abilities amid heightened tensions in the South China Sea. And in July, the two countries signed a landmark military pact allowing deployments of forces on each other's soil, smoothing military cooperation between the two countries. Both the Philippines and Japan, two of the United States' closest Asian allies, have taken a strong line against what they see as aggressive behavior by Chinese vessels amid decades-old disputes over maritime sovereignty. On Sunday, Nakatani was presenting the coastal radar systems under its Overseas Security Assistance Program to enhance its maritime domain awareness capabilities. The Philippines Air Force was also to receive equipment to support all the radar system capabilities. Natani has met with his Filipino counterpart Gilbert Teodoro and is expected to hold a discussion to further enhance bilateral defense cooperation on Monday. Meanwhile, Pope Francis, battling double pneumonia, remains in a critical condition and his prognosis is still guarded because of the complexity of his clinical condition, the Vatican says on Sunday. The Pope was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on Friday, 14th February, after having trouble breathing for several days and subsequently had pneumonia diagnosed in both lungs. Meanwhile, in Buenos Aires, hundreds gathered at the city's cathedral to pray for him. Father Alejandro Rosso led the Mass, offering prayers for the Pope's recovery as many attendees were visibly moved. Susana Ruiz, a faithful participant, expressed her sorrow, hoping for divine protection and minimal suffering for the Pope. Yvette Rodriguez described Francis as an idol for his kindness and dedication to others, lamenting the potential loss of such a figure. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says on Sunday that he believed U.S. President Donald Trump's team saw a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia as the end of the war. Speaking at the press conference, he said any deal struck between the United States and Russia to end the war in Ukraine would not be successful if Ukraine did not agree to its conditions. Kyiv has long argued that it needs to see a long-time resolution to the war for it to feel secure due to the threat of a renewed Russian attack. Zelensky said that Ukraine was working on domestic alternatives of the U.S.-produced Patriot air defense system. Zelensky also said he saw Turkey as an important security guarantor for Ukraine.
I think that in the world they live, they believe it. Ceasefire means the end of the war. I am even certain that they believe that this will be truly a big success and that Putin won't take a risk to start a war again. We believe there must be security guarantees. Yes, we understand these are expensive measures and it's not as easy as that, just to agree on a ceasefire. We want to be able to guarantee the safety of our people. It means uncertainty. Uncertainty is bad for the entire world and everyone will lose. We will lose. Americans will lose too, because the question is whether you can be happy and victorious if you reached a ceasefire agreement, but in a year a war started again. Are you a winner? No. Russians will prepare and will stage another advance. It is very dangerous for all. If America, I don't believe in it, but anything can happen, reach an agreement with Russians about us without us, then there will be no success in this agreement if we don't agree to its conditions.
European Union buildings across Brussels lit up the colors of the Ukrainian flag on Sunday evening to mark the 3-year anniversary of the Russian invasion. The Ukraine war, the biggest land conflict in Europe since World War II, has displaced millions, left Ukrainian cities, towns and villages in ruins and disrupted the global economy. Since the start of the conflict, the European Union has welcomed millions of Ukrainian refugees on its soil and says its members have provided some 48.5 billion euros in military aid to Ukraine since Russia invaded its neighbor in February 2022. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly called on the allies to honor all their promises to supply Ukraine with weapons, including those to counter Russian air attacks. Meanwhile, thousands of protesters gathered in Paris on Sunday in support of Ukraine, joined by unions, NGOs, and elected officials marching from Republic Square to Bastille Square. The protest was held on the eve of the third anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Demonstrators chanted anti-Putin and anti-Trump slogans, insisting that there should be no negotiations without Ukraine at the table. Sylvie Brigot, director of Amnesty International France, said Ukrainians must be present at any future peace talks after Moscow and Washington held talks in Saudi Arabia without a Ukrainian presence. The negotiations prompted European allies to rally around Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, concerned about Trump's perceived pivot to Moscow and the risk of discussions taking place without Ukraine's direct involvement. The European Union will hold a special summit on Ukraine war on March 6th. European Council President Antonio Costa announced on Sunday. Several French-Ukrainian NGOs took part in the rally, including the local group Ukraine Grenoble Isaïe, based on the French Alps. Its director, Tatiana Liubuk, warned of the broader implications of the war and said Europe has a lot at stake in this war, which could get stuck and get out of hand. Among the crowd were many Ukrainian refugees. Roslana Kuznetsova, who has been in France for 3 years and who hopes to resume her sociology studies one day, said the conflict goes beyond politics. And elsewhere, hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Athens on Sunday to mark the third anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Members of the Ukrainian community in Greece held their keys up, symbolizing their desire to return home, and observed the minute silence for those lost in the conflict. Many demonstrators, including Ukrainians, expressed their deep anguish at the ongoing peace negotiations between Washington and Moscow. Demonstrators marched through the Greek capital, holding signs and waving a large Ukrainian flag.
I'm lost, you know. I was not expecting. I always had hope, and on him also. But I still have it. And I hope that, because logic should be, I think it's not logic what is going on lately.
I'm not Ukrainian, I'm a Russian, but I came here to support the Ukrainian people in this war. Not all Russians support the government and want to kill Ukrainians, make genocide on their country. So, some of us, the freedom people of Russia, want to help Ukrainian people.
Thousands of protesters gathered in central Madrid on Sunday to demand better public education and oppose government cuts, marching with banners reading, "Let's save public education, its privatization is our ruin." Participants voiced strong opposition to policies led by Regional President Isabel Díaz Ayuso. Díaz Ayuso's education policies have drawn criticism amid a sharp rise in private vocational education enrollments in recent years due to a lack of public school spaces. This trend has fueled concerns about further privatization, with protesters arguing that the absence of sufficient public education options disproportionately impacts students. In the streets, protesters held signs that read, "Defend what's public," while others called for the resignation of Ayuso, decrying the privatization of essential public services. The protest, which also saw university students joining the demonstration for the first time, highlighted deepening frustrations over a funding gap between Madrid's educational institutions and their counterparts across Spain. And that's the news this hour. Many thanks for watching. See you later.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was...
Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was...
Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
The world's watched with bated breath how Russia invaded Ukraine. This is the 3rd year's anniversary since that happened, and it's so unfortunate that the world hasn't been able to do anything about it. But then we have a president of the United States who is trying to do something, who's just only 1 month old in the administration. And so many persons have criticized the way he has gone about it. Speaking with Russia in Saudi Arabia without involvement of Ukraine. I mean, who's been the battered one, the one who's been crying. I mean, it's so crazy that, in fact, the President of the United States was quoted as saying in different fora that he's a man without elections. And, you know, so much things, you know, said about him, which was quite unfortunate. But, I mean, Europe is actually going to have a conference on March 6th to see how they can assist Ukraine pass through this process. It's crazy. I really don't know. 30 years down the line and the war is still brewing, and that particular war has affected global economy in different ways. Just in case you don't know, Ukraine is the biggest producers of wheat. Yes, you'd be shocked that the wheat that you even eat via the making of bread is actually, you know, imported from Ukraine. So some of you who are wondering why bread is quite expensive, it's possible that it's because of that particular war. But then we also have something in our hands here in Africa. We're seeing another country invading another one right under our own noses, and nothing is done about it. Africa has to rise. Welcome, everybody. This is the morning show here on Signature TV. I'm Charles Pius. We're back after this for the headlines on the newspapers' reviews. Stay with us. And over now to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Right above the mast this morning, 1966 coup, IBB has vindicated Igbo. Ohaneze Chekwas Okorie speaks. Ganduje minister biker over Kano APC chairmanship. Why? I introduce SAP, other policies. IBB speaks. Below the mast, APC Makinde war over Osun local government polls. Why Nigerians are angry. Ango Abdullahi speaks. NLC to IMF, World Bank, stop lending to unaccountable leaders. No to scrapping of NDDC, Ishakiri leaders tell Tinubu, we have 600 billion naira worth of petrol in storage, says Dangote. Okay, I'm sure that he's looking to sell it off. Maybe he should reduce it further so we could have cheaper fuel. All right. Elsewhere, we're moving over to the Nigerian Tribune. On the Nigerian Tribune this morning, just below the mast, proposed taxes on free trade zone, $200 billion foreign investments may leave Nigeria. Nasima warns, with the rider says over 600,000 jobs at risk. Gunmen attack church, shoot pastor, abduct 6 worshippers in Delta. Ogun, to benefit as world's largest protein producer, invests $2.5 billion in Nigeria. 5 killed, 4 wounded in Edo over cocoa. Fresh controversy over return of Obe as PDP South leader. Ramadan consumers goods stock surges by 6.6%. Adeleke swears in 30 Osun local government chairman. How we gathered eggheads to manage Nigeria's economy, says IBB. So find out the details on the Nigerian Tribune. And now to the Guardian. On the Guardian this morning, a journey in service. Afterthoughts of the Maradona, say critics, as IBB shares June 12 blame. Nigeria may lose $200 billion FDIs, 600,000 jobs. Nasima warns as federal government taxes FTZs. Pope has mild kidney failure, remains in critical condition, says Vatican. Concerns as Adeleke swears in newly elected council chairman and councillors. 2027, APC warns Tinubu of Southeast risks as El Rufai seeks alliances to rescue Nigeria. Lagos, Ogun to experience poor telephone services amid police Nupeng standoff. Wow. 1966 coup, Ohaneze demands apology, 10 trillion naira compensations to Igbo. What a revelation. I'm sure there's still more to be revealed from that book. A whole lot of persons are actually looking at the 1993 coup that was annulled, or I think 3 elections that were annulled. But there are actually more things in that book that is quite shocking. I'm sure that in due time, we would have some time to review that book, at least give it an hour, and really look at the content of that book. Daily Trust newspaper, minister threatens to leave APC over Kano chairmanship. We have over 600 billion worth of petrol in store, says Dangote. Still on the Daily Trust, Nigeria records 80 deaths from Lassa fever in 1 week. How federal government spends $8 billion to support Naira, says Rewane. With the writer, Nigerians yet to feel impacts of rebasing inflation. It is not true. Presidency and CBN mom. Why would toppled Buhari, says IBB. How cleric hypnotized kill students in Kwara. North needs to align with South to rescue Nigeria, says El Rufai. After inauguration, Adeleke asks local government chairs to stay awake from offices. All the details on the Daily Trust. And now to the Blueprint newspaper. On the Blueprints, Ramadan, group targets 3 million donations to feed 100 vulnerable Muslims. Group targets 3 million naira donations to feed 100 vulnerable Muslims. Information Minister Idris loses mother-in-law. Janazi holds at National Mosque today. With over 600 billion naira worth of fuel in stock, says Dangote. 2025 Afro Basketball Championship, D Tigers secure tickets in Libya. Tension in Osun as defiant Adeleke swears in local government chairs and councillors, tells them to stay off secretariats. Release allocations to only reinstated chairman. APC urges federal government to beware of wild west. Makinde warns. Ayedatiwa dumps Akeredolu's redeemed agenda, opts for REs. Nigeria saves $20 million daily from fuel subsidy removal, says Oyedele. With the writer says current tax system not conducive. Federal government China signs £7.6 billion clean energy deal. 22-year-old Nigerian Oduwole nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. NCDC reports 80 deaths from Lassa fever in 11 states. Elumelu advocates higher oil production to drive economic growth. 3 suspects nabbed attempting to buy 6-month-old fetus for 30 million naira in Mina. And now to the Punch newspaper, which is just about the last right now on the Punch this morning, just above the mast. Babangida justifies $12.4 billion Gulf oil windfall mismanagement despite Okibo reports. We've not failed to meet Nigerians' needs, Dangote refinery speaks. Tax reform, National Assembly engages caucus leaders as hearing begins. APC, PDP clash as El Rufai woos opposition parties, with the writer, ruling party berates Kaduna ex-governor for romancing PDP bigwigs and others. Lagos Assembly, Tinubu engages Akonde, Oshoba, others on peace mission. Still on the Punch newspaper, stepfather, friend arrested for impregnating 14-year-old in Lagos. Southwest governments lack power to stop Sharia's panel. IG squads man secretariats as Oshun local government poll crisis rages. All the details on the Punch newspaper this morning. And now we're going over to the reviewer this morning. He is Chris Monica. Good to have you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Charles.
All right.
And good morning, the world. This is another day on Signature Television newspaper review. We're grateful to God.
Interesting. So more revelations have been made regarding this book. Ohaneze, Chekwasokore are excited about the revelation so far. 1966 coup, IBB has vindicated Igbo. I mean, in some quarters it was said that that particular coup was an Igbo coup. So IBB is stating clearly that it wasn't, apparently. And so who flew that kite and what was it all about?
The kite, a lot of kites have been flown in Nigeria, and people flew the kites and flew them, whether they are still flying, to favor them. Let's wonder, some of those who are flying these kites stopped history in our schools. So they keep flying their own dangerous kites to favor them. And this is where their kite flying has brought Nigeria to. So what they have in Nigeria is the truth, according to individuals. Every Nigerian ex-big wig must write his own memoir and release it and cause distraction in already distracted Nigeria to bring followership. IBB is trending more than the present sitting government because of what a lot of people. His book has turned to the elephant and the 10 blind people. The Igbos will read IBB's memo, and they see how he has helped them to, say that 1966 coup was not a Igbo coup, and that's all they held on. And the MKO Abiola family and children are talking about the evil that was done to their father, who won election, and some of the followers, the old and new Nadeko, and people who still stood on that are saying of injustice that IBB-led government did to them. Then the Vasta family, Vasta should be the best man of IBB, are talking about restitution. And so many of people, so you open the 10 blind people and the elephant. The ones who touch the leg say elephant looks like a big tree, Iroko tree is big. The ones who touch the ear say the thing looks like a flat surface like clothes. The ones who touch the horn said, this thing, so they were describing about the same elephant. He said Nigeria, that IBB governed sometime. And he wrote about his experience as the highest, the #1 citizen in 2025, 32 years after. And people are just talking and talking, distracted from the present problem we have. If you pay the Igbos 10 trillion, would have solved the problem of denial, marginalization that they suffered over time. And they're still suffering, and stigmatization that they are suffering. And anywhere, any crisis starts in Nigeria, the Igbos they'll be at the blunt. If Igbo man come out to contest the election in Lagos, the Igbos will be killed. People who are innocent and they are pursuing their life, and you say we are one Nigeria. If there are issues that come up in the north, anybody that looks like Igbo will be killed. And reasons will justify it, and we're here talking about, So, this scam of ones that has been opened, some people say we justify his courage to even open it now. Let it even begin. If, like the Igbos will say, Osita atadebamma or the Babo, if we begin today to make things right, then we have started on good time. Let it be the memory of IBB that has pushed Nigeria to that. But if not, it would have been an assemblage of people, the like mind, who go there come together for a reason to raise money they will use to fund the mega party they are planning to fund. And they are causing distraction in Nigeria. I mean, in 2025 in Nigeria, every of these people should understand that we are no more the same kind of Nigerians. If not for anything, so many things that happen in Nigeria has begun to make us to think. I called somebody, we are talking in a program, and the man said, we are talking about this. Have we asked them why Shagari was overthrown? I was stuck because I said, oh, how did that one come in? Why did they overthrow Shagari? Somebody is not talking about it. They should link about it. If IBB said he has had a hand in all coups in Nigeria, then he must know something about why Shagari was overthrown. Why did he keep quiet on that? Ekweme was the vice president for, and you have a lot of crop of Igbo people who are positioned in the Shagari government. Suddenly, the profile of a religion in Nigeria was rising, and in the guise, Shagari was toppled. That's the argument of the man. And he brought another dimension. And in the writing of a memo of a strong Maradona who has played and scored in all Nigerian coups, he kept quiet. There are a lot of insincerity and some hidden agenda in Nigeria, and we follow these politicians. We have to be careful. That's all my advice. Before you say, I'm launching a memo of my service, 19 billion naira has been raised. In a country where people have not been eating at all. It's not more about one meal a day. People can't eat. People are dying. So the like minds have gathered. The likes of the people came out. There's a viral video going around of a multi-billionaire in the Southeast who was saying, I give you 500 million because you made us what we are. And everybody were clapping. So Babangida made all the billionaires. How did he make them? Was Babangida doing Okite? Or was he as a DB or as a Y? These are conscious effort of some privileged Nigerians to hold people down. But we wish them well. Someday, something that are pushed him to start saying some things that look like truth, or one element of truth, is only him that knows. What pushed him to come out and say, this is what we did. If some of them can do this, and we begin to hold their memo, bring all the ones that the OBJ's own, is not in my command or something. I know of so many memos that are flowing around. And some are planning to write there. Somebody says someday, Yakubu, the INEC chairman, will write his own memo. So Nigeria becomes a country of memo writers. And we cause havoc that takes us 100 billion years back. After those things, we go and sit and write memo and gather to raise funds. Charles, is well. God bless Nigeria. What we are here watching, as far as there's life, one day, no matter, I've told you, Ajoku to him. One day, we'll bring it up and clean it up. For lies cannot rotten. They can only gather muco. Whenever we want to treat it, you clean up the muco. The lies will remain the way it is, constant. And we begin to treat it. All the lies they've told us in Nigeria will be imagined somehow like this, but we still have some a very organized attempt to hide some truth. Some truth are still hidden. All the truth about Nigeria is not yet out. Go back, put back history, let young Nigerians even know what wrongs this has done, and then they read history. Let them read history. Let them not be writing us synoptic gospels or memos. Nigerian gospel according to IBB. Nigerian gospel according to OBJ. Nigerian gospel according to Yaradua. Is this what we... And once it is personalized, it becomes person's opinion and views. So I don't even... What are people... What this one criticize is a distraction, because the man who wrote his memo, go and write yours. It's not in Nigeria that you rig election and say, meet me in court. Let others summon courage, write their own memo like Babangida, say some hard truth like he has tried to say. Let us stop wasting our energy talking. And I mean, the memos have been there. Let the present people see it as inspiration, act on it to cover up and make amend and assuage and bring whatever they are going to use to heal some wounds instead of opening wounds every day, opening wounds and we clap, open wound we clap. Who has talked about healing the wounds? Are you opening wound for who? All these wounds that IBB are open, he opened it for the present government, Tinubu, to heal. Has Tinubu reacted? Are we just laughing and smiling? When you see wounds open, who will heal it?
Right. We have over 600 billion worth of petrol in store, says Dangote. I'm sure that
600 billion worth of fuel stored somewhere, while we're still buying fuel at 995 in some quarters, 1,550 naira in some places, 1,200, about 600 billion worth of fuel. Somebody is storing it, paying him storage costs, and all. And we are here. Is it that Mwambeke does not know how to cut the hair? Or is it that the razor blade or the barbing tool that the Mwambeke is using is not sharp? That is the question Nigerians will ask, because it's come out for me to. So what do you mean? Let me ask Dangote. You have told Nigerians you have 600 billion worth of fuel, refined petroleum product in storage. This worth of fuel, the space you needed to store it, that means you need almost a whole seat, more than let's say 500,000 hectares of land or acres to store. So you mean you have this kind of storage system? Why storing? Is it that the marketers refuse to buy your fuel? Is it that you are sabotage from NNPCL because they've opened their own refinery? Why did Nigeria give you license to open refinery they cannot patronize to buy the fuel? Why we don't even have this fuel in abundance? And we are saying we want to regulate the market. Fill up Lagos market. Let even fuel become 200 naira in Lagos. This is cheaper. Is it that you send all your tankers, let them supply all the filling stations are cheaper? Nigerians want to buy fuel at the cheaper price. Why telling us you store? It's the same question if people ask. If you see 60,000 liters of tanker explodes fell off on the main road and you see fuel spilling, you ask Nigerians not to go and scoop. When a liter of fuel is 1,200 naira and some is stored somewhere, let it be that nobody will go there and want to start finding a way of scooping fuel in the reservoirs. Maybe that's what the security to protect that place is what is costing you high. Let them on the oil and gas sector in Nigeria meet and tell us what the truth, because the lies and sleaze and dog eat dog rat race in oil and gas industry in Nigeria is killing. I'm tired of talking about it. If you want to have 1 trillion fuel, refined petroleum products stored, bear the cost, keep it, and bring it out to small, or let Nigerian marketers, not even Ip man or Ip woman, let them not come and patronize you. Let the status quo remain. The goat that is lying on the ground is lying on his skin. Even if you are comfortable in Abuja, living in government and taxpayers' money expenses, and everything is well for you, what about your relations in the village? The same fuel, the same market they buy. And whatever you see, you make out of Nigerians, you still spend it and it won't go anywhere. Why not make it easy for everybody? 5% of Nigerians are holding 240 million Nigerians to ransom because they are holding all our commonwealth in one way or the other, and they will sit together, justify it. That is it. That's the way I talk about it. So it's not 600 billion, it's more billion naira worth of fuel. In Nigerian government economy where fuel is expensive, Why not fill the market with it, let the price drop? Even if it's 1 naira, we'll still appreciate it.
Well, he has been dropping it since, I think, over 2 months now. He has been dropping it. Some
How
places
much
are
did
now
you buy
selling,
today?
Some places are selling at 9.45, some are selling at 9.70, you know. It used to be 1,002 in ENUGU, at least that I know.
Yeah.
So it has come down to, some stations are selling at 9.25, some 9.45, some 9.70.
Don't be surprised why I'm asking. I stopped using my car for the last 6 months. so you have to brief us. Those of you can still buy. Okay, so we wait. When it gets to 500 naira, we think about maybe reviving. Otherwise, let them hold their fuel, drink it, and use it to make a breakfast for their children and their children's children, and all that care. That's all. Some of us have been cut off from the buying fuel market, and then the status quo ante remains. Those survival of the fittest. That's what Nigeria is all about. I hold it against nobody. Those who can survive, go buy fuel, drive your car. Those of us who can't, we trek. But my gross is that you can't even trek without being taxed. You pay for trekking on Nigerian road? Well.
No, I mean, well, that is actually exaggeration. I mean, you can't say people are being taxed for trekking.
Oh, you have not been taxed for trekking?
Is it under the sun or under the rain? Which one? How do they do it? Did they stop you and start asking you for tax? Anyways, let's go into this particular story. Adeleke is swearing in 30 Osun local government chairmen that have just been elected. I mean, the federal government, through the Attorney General, stated clearly that it is illegal for Adeleke to go ahead with this particular local government elections because...
I don't know the details. We know that they give the order.
Yes.
When election was holding in Rivers, which was wide west, wide southeast, IGF did not say. He virtually was supporting, and even when the police withdrew, the man had his election, swore in his, and then just like their usual slang, meet me in court. Whether they're still in court or not, I don't know.
So it borders on how governors have become overbearing. I mean, the issue was that the court restated these 30 men because the state government wanted them out by all means. And then they had these court issues, but the court restated them, given that the new law by the Supreme Court stated clearly that the governors don't have sweeping authority over local government.
Is it the caretaker, the earlier caretaker chairman, and then when the man want to do elections, they will stay?
Yes.
Why do we have a policy that knocks heads? If you say that whenever governor want to organize, the ones who are caretakers should go because they are not elected. Why should they go to court and want to stay when they are just caretaker? How can a caretaker be more powerful than the landlord? I don't understand. I need to be explained, but I don't see why there should be tension in Osun. Adeleke have organized a local government election in his state, and the people have won. He's swearing in. In fact, the Osun State Local Government, commission, has started giving them certificate of return. Now, it's not the first time in Nigeria. We have had it in Edo State where we have 2 deputy governors. Heaven did not fall. We had had in River State where you have 2 sets of local government people, or House of Assembly. You have the one for this side and for this side. Until we sort our issues out. When you say governor is overbearing, is the party at the center not overbearing? When they told us they want to turn Nigeria into a one-party system, they finished with Edo and they swore that they will take Osun. So Osun person, it's only not a tree. Is it not a tree that will tell you I will kill you, that stands still? The Osun governor pulled back his powers, whatever his powers allow him to do. And you are saying overbearing because you are talking from Abuja. Can you live in somebody's house for him? Has the Constitution said that from Abuja you rule Osun State? I don't know what you are talking about. Let's get the Constitution right. Of course, Nigeria is a lawless country where people operate the Constitution and laws to suit to them. Nobody is talking about what is really universally accepted law of Nigeria and the way it should apply. Do you remove the APC influence because they want to take over all the states in Nigeria and make a one-party system? Have they proven it right to everybody? Have they not done it in some states we have elections hold? And they boldly told us that everybody and people They are having halls, moves of politicians jumping and joining them. It's not an offense when you get to be elected on Labour Party platform and along the line you join APC. Everything is quiet. But let somebody try it the other way. They will go and bring out the constitution that proves whether you are supposed to resign. Why are we telling ourselves lies and want to progress? Because it requires this kind of mind of objectivity, even when it concerns you. And that's when you prove it, everybody will start saying it. They will say, even when it concerns him, he still maintains the right thing to do and not become subjective. But in Nigeria, when it concerns you, if you don't want to say, you keep quiet. But when the thing is to another man, you open your mouth and shout and shout and shout. Nigeria, we cannot make progress with that attitude and that kind of body language. Because anybody, the way we make our mouth, we lie on it. We shouldn't look for who to blame. God bless Nigeria. God bless Signature Television.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris Monica, for your insights on the newspaper headlines and review. So we're back shortly after this. Just stay with us. This is the morning show here on Signature TV. Charles here. Pretty good morning it is, right? The 24th of February. We are in the last week rundown for the month of the second month of the year 2025. It's been quite a run. Anyways, so there's a whole lot still happening in the polity, given that the book by the former head of states of Nigeria has been causing a lot of ripple. I'm talking about the memoir of IBB. And many persons have reacted. Some persons are saying that he should be prosecuted. I'm just wondering what it would look like prosecuting IBB based on what had happened in 1993. Some others have also saying that there are actually more truths to be told. There are more persons that needs to speak, especially now that they are alive. Some say, maybe a Gowon should do something in that nature and tell the truth about the Civil War. Anyways, we're sticking to the IBB memoir and the MKO saga. We have live with us on Zoom this morning, Chief Jackson Lake Onojo. He's a security expert and executive protection officer. Good to have you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Are you of that school of thought that because of these revelations that IBB should be prosecuted?
To me, there is no age in life that if somebody has committed a crime against the state, there is no age, there is no condition that such a person cannot be prosecuted. What IBB did, and now that he has openly confessed, even in black and white, I think there should be a punitive actions against him, so that one will serve as a deterrent to our leader, for them to know that you cannot just be in office, handling the power, and you think you'll be there forever and do whatever you feel like doing forever. So it's not a bad idea anyway. But at the same time, the present president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria may want to have sympathy, and after the pronouncement of the punishment, there could be a state pardon. That is my opinion about that.
Right. Some of the revelations from that book which we highlighted a few moments earlier, was the fact that, you know, a lot of persons thought that the 1966 coup was the Igbo coup. But that book also highlighted the fact that it wasn't. What's your reaction to that?
Well, to me, I wouldn't want us to revisit too much about 1966 coup, because the 1966 coup eventually led to the civil war in this country. We like it or not, that was the foundation of what led to the civil war in this country. And a lot of, some part of this country felt so bad, felt like they were treated like if they are inferior, felt that they are treated like if they are third-class citizens in Nigeria. But then it has gone, an event has overtaken it. The wound is healed already. I want us to see if the government of the day and any other government coming in the future, we kind of, you know, if they can, if there's any way they can dress the scar so that it can become like the flesh again. That is what I think we should be thinking about now.
Okay, generally for that book, one would have thought that the many truths, maybe, because some persons have also highlighted a few things about the book that is not actually truth, but many people would have said that that book should have been some sort of blueprints for leaders of today to be able to champion the right cause. So while you are in power, endeavor to make sure that the will of the people in all ways prevail. Do you see that book as one pivotal instrument that can make our leaders do the right things?
It is never an instrument to make our leader think aright. Why am I saying this? It was unfortunate when I saw some faces sitting down there, and those are the people that pretended that they fought for June 12th. They fought for late Emperor Abiola. I saw them that day. That occasion, that day is not an occasion that warranted the people laughing, clapping, and throwing banter. It's an occasion that called for a very calm situation, sober reflection, a situation whereby people would have been sharing tears. MK Abiola died as a result of what happened during June 12th. I lost so many of my friends. I lost relations. Many Nigerians, many communities, many local government, many states lost one or two persons during that period. But when these our leaders, they sat there that day throwing banter, it's like those people were dancing on the graves of Nigerians that died because of the annulment of June 12th. So to me, if they have forgotten about it and they have taken it for a joke now, what lessons do you think? A day of sober reflection was turned to a day that billions were donated for that book and for the project. You understand? So to me, it was unfortunate. And there is nothing in that book. Babangida confessional statement so many since that time contradicted a lot of what was in that book that day. So what are we talking about? Why is it now, when Abacha was alive, Babangida could not come to the public to say Abacha was the one that annulled it? And how can a commander-in-chief be in office, in charge of the military, in charge of the government, and another general under him, another election, and he could not come out and defend himself that time and let Nigeria persecute the person? You understand? So to me, there are a lot of contradictions there that do not make that book any way valuable to me.
But some persons would say, well, is it not better to have told the truth and then look for solutions rather than just, keeping quiet and just continue with that lies that have continued to fester?
My dear brother, and let the whole world listen to what I'm saying now. If in a situation, maybe in an industry, if I go to remove some part of the generator and we can't power the system, we can't power the complex, and I later come back and say, this is the part of generator I removed, let me fix it back. And immediately I fix it back, we were able to power the generator. It's quite different from this. Those damages, the death of late M.K. Abiola, the death of late M.K. Abiola's wife, the death of so many Nigerians. What are you going to do to resolve that? Are you going to create a statute now and say this is M.K. Abiola alive? Immediately after that one, immediately M.K. Abiola died. Almost all of his industries dead. ITT, FRCN, all these died. Abiola Bakery, Abiola Farm, Summit Oil, a lot of other industries died. Immediately, those conglomerate went down. Simply, all those people working in those industries, in those companies, they are jobless today. You understand? So this is an irredeemable damage that IBB caused this country. So we don't need the truth now. The truth now could not repair anything. And the truth, the only thing is maybe our leaders could learn from it, but they are not going to learn from it because you saw them there throwing banters. Osoba was there, Tinubu was there, Obasanjo was there, and a host of other Democrats across the party line then. They were there that they throwing banters, donating billions. So what are we talking about? No. That book is, to me, I think the book is useless. That book is just there to remind, that book, if it remains in circulation, it will cause enmity among people in this country. All those people that lost 1 or 2 persons during that period, by the time they read that book, they become sad. And they will rise against the country one way or the other, even in their opinion. So to me, it's not a good material that should be allowed to remain in circulation, that should be allowed to remain in libraries. Honestly, that is my personal opinion anyway. And as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I think I have right to my opinion.
No doubt that that event was significant enough to impact so many things, economy, our social fabric, our people, sense of belonging. That did. But 32 years down the line, do you think leaders have come afterwards, have highlighted those issues and solving those issues, especially as it relates to the thwarting the people's will?
That is the most grievous offense that was committed. People of the Federal Republic of Nigeria decided in a state-sponsored election to say this is our next leader. And they went out to vote for that leader. It was like a coup. A coup against democracy, against M.K. Abiola, against the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was an oppressive coup, honestly. And there is no leader. The only person that have tried a little was General Muhammadu Buhari when he was the president. He recognized M.K. Abiola as the president-elect then. Is his picture going to be in the Hall of Fame? Is he going to be there as a day president? Did he rule? Did he govern the country in a day? Was he sworn in? So when you look at the angle of the law, he won the election, but he was not sworn in. So at least General Buhari tried a little But no other leader. The gathering of those leaders there last week, Thursday or thereabout, I think is to laugh and make jest of the collective will of Nigerians during June 12th, to mock the man that won the election, to mock the democracy, and to mock the numbers of people that died in that process, to mock the economy that was battered because of that process. So to me, God has blessed Nigeria with everything, but we have been so unlucky when it comes to the issue of leadership.
You know, that election was and still is one of Nigeria's freest elections. It was so unfortunate that it didn't scale through. But again, the other question on the other side would be, we've had elections since that particular elections, an opportunity for Nigeria to be able to show that we have overcome that past black day. But have you seen us grown above that particular process that happened in 1993 with our elections that have happened since the return to democracy in 1999?
I was in my late 20s then. Now I'm in my late 50s. My experience then is still in my head now. It remains very, very lively. The bitterness I bear then is still in my head till now. Because of what happened that time, I've never trusted any election in this country. So many Nigerians, since that time, because of what happened, you tell them to go and vote, they will tell you which one. Is it that your vote will not count? If your vote can't, maybe somebody might just rise up to annul the election, to cancel the election. So that thing is there. It remains. It remains indelibly high on the memory of Nigerians. So that thing is still there, fresh. And since that time, which election has come that Nigerians have not complained? The one 1988-1999 election conducted by Abdullah Abubakar, there was a lot of complaint because people went to court to go and challenge the election from at all levels, from local government to state, Senate, House of Reps, governorship and presidency. People challenged it in court. 2003, people came out to challenge it in court. 2011-7, people challenged it in court. 2015, people challenged it in court because they are all shambolic. 2019, people challenged it in court. 2023, it was almost one of the worst elections. So in the history, political history of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have not gotten anything like the 1983 presidential election. It was annulled by a man. And that man came out now, began to tell lies against some people that are dead, began to give flimsy excuses. What happened that time was like a coup, because he said if he had announced this man, declared the president, some people were ready to kill him. That means they were planning coup against a democratic system in Nigeria. What happened? What happened between Babangida and Basha? Just information that Basha is best friend, planned coup against him. It was not investigated. It was investigated hurriedly, and that one was executed. Now that you are the sitting president and somebody planned coup, telling you that they are going to go against democratic settings in this country, and you kept quiet. You allowed those people to be alive. You allowed them to be free. My dear brother, honestly, we've not gotten any election like that in this country. And I pray if the crop of leaders today, if the way they appoint INEC chairman, INEC commissioners, others, if it continues this way, we will never get it right politically in this country.
How do you think the appointment of INEC chairman should happen in order for us to get it right?
Let them contest. Let the interested people, let them contest for it, for the position.
How?
Contest, yeah, let them contest for the position of INEC chairman, and let the people, maybe retired judges, retired military general, retired military and paramilitary chiefs, the dons of the universities. We still have some persons in this country today that they are still very good, but they don't have opportunity. We have some persons today in Nigeria that if they contest for the position of INEC chairman, if Nigerians vote for them, if they win, they become the INEC chairman, we know that the whole money in the Central Bank of Nigeria cannot convince them. The whole money in the whole Central Bank of Nigeria cannot make them misbehave because they are highly principled. That is one. Two, each member of the political party must be part of our electoral umpires, so that let there be representation. Let the member of APC, PDP, all of that, let them be part of the board of INEC, so that whatever they are doing, all the political parties are well represented. So that there is no way I can be sitting down representing a political party and some people are sitting down there, they want to manipulate. No, it is not this selection system. Mr. President, we just wake up one morning and just call one of his friends. And we get somebody that will be loyal to us. And we get somebody that will do our bidding. And somebody will just bring somebody. He become our next chairman. Since the day that person is sworn in, he start doing the bidding of the party in power. Let that one stop. We don't want selection again. We don't want selection again. No way.
All right. In 1999, there was this deliberate move in order to appease the people of the Southwest, of course, owing to what had happened in 1993. Yes. We had the two major parties, produce people from the Southwest. Obasanjo would go ahead to win. But I'm just wondering if you think that in some way healed the wounds that people felt, of the annulment in 1993.
No. No. They tried to use that one to see if they can pacify the people of the Southwest. That was why, even when Obunaya contested on the platform of APP, what did they do? They tell him to step down. So it was between Yorubas and Yorubas that time. And eventually a Yoruba man emerged. With due respect, Obasanjo was there for 8 years. The road between Lagos and his hometown was not constructed, was not rehabilitated. It doesn't matter. I don't believe this idea of say, let the Yoruba do it this time, let the Hausa do it this time. When Obasanjo was there, how many people was he able to bring out of poverty? How many new industry was able to influence the Yoruba land? How many roads was he able to build in Yoruba land? Even in Lagos State, just because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as governor that time decided to create 37 more local government development areas. What happened? His Yoruba brother, who was the president, seized the allocation of Lagos State. Even when the Supreme Court ruled, this General Obasanjo flouted the order of the Supreme Court. It was a man from Katsina State, from the Northwest, that came to effect the ruling of the Supreme Court. Is there a Yoruba man? So I don't believe in all this. They just did it that time to put one of their own. They were not ready. The military people, they were not ready to hand over to a civilian, a Democrat. So what they did was to hand over the power to their fellow military general. And that was the reason. To me, I believe they used it to compensate the military community, not the Yorubas. Yes, because Olufalaye claimed to have won that election, if not because they want to satisfy the military. Olufalaye was secretary to the federal government, to IBB. Olufalaye was one time Minister of Finance and Economic Planning and Budget under IBB. Who do you think IBB should trust more than Olufalaye? No. But they want to compensate one of their own military general. That was what they did that time. It was not to satisfy the Yoruba race. No.
All right. One of the things that have played, prominent role in our polity is ethnicity. So many persons feel that when candidates emerge, they first look at people's ethnicity, where they are from, before they even talk about their capacity. How do you think that can change? Because it does look like that might just be another problem that has bedeviled our politics in the last 25 years.
Let me now go back to start my analysis from 25 years. Let me start from the period President Muhammadu Buhari came to power. When President Muhammadu Buhari came to power, at a particular time, he even opened mouth to say, I am going to favor the people that voted for me more than the people that do not vote for me. And there are some region in this country, the geopolitical zone in this country that did not vote for him more. And those people felt it truly, that, oh, truly, we didn't vote for this man, and this man is proving to us that we did not vote for him. Most of the appointment, major, what Nigeria politicians call juicy appointment, during President Muhammadu Buhari, they are from the northern Nigeria. And Nigerians shouted, we cried out. Immediately, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came. Look at what has happened too. The same thing. That is why ethnicity politicking will not stop. Ethnic sympathy will not stop in Nigeria body politics. Today, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Finance is from Lagos. Has worked with the governor, the president in Lagos as governor. The governor of Central Bank, the same. The Inspector General of Police has worked with him before from Yoruba land. The Director General of DSS, Yoruba man. Custom, Yoruba man. Chief of Army Staff, Yoruba man. What are we talking about? This is prebendalism. A system of government whereby every good thing is act to the side of the leader. This is nepotism. A lot of favoritism is there. Nobody is talking in this country today since the period of Muhammadu Buhari. Nobody is talking of merit. It's favoritism, prebendalism, nepotism. That is what we are having. After President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whosoever that produce the president, look at what he will do. He will pack his people around him. A time is coming. The leader will pack people from his community, not even from his state. Somebody told me sometimes ago, he said, it's like Tinubu is urbanize this system. I said, no, it's Lagosianizing it. Yes. So if this thing continue, my dear brother, we are going nowhere. We want a situation whereby an Igbo man become president. He look for the best military man from Maiduguri and appoint him. He look for the best economist from Ilesa, from Osun State, and appoint him. He look for merit, those people that merit it, until we allow meritocracy to crown our
All right, Chief Jackson, many thanks for your insights and your input on the show. It's been one very revealing one. Truly appreciate you. Chief Jackson, Lakon Ojo is a security expert and executive protection officer, joining us from Port Harcourt this morning. Many thanks for that. We're back shortly after this. Just stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
So we switch gears right now to talk about the development in Osun State, southwest Nigeria. There's a whole lot that has been happening in that state. The federal government, through the Minister for Justice, apparently stated clearly that the state government should not go ahead with the local government elections owing to the court order, but the governor, continued in that direction. So what's the implications of these developments? Dr. Femi Adetifa is a broadcast journalist in Osogbo, Osun State. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning. The name is Dr. Femi Adetifa.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, can you give us an update of the development, especially, just even give us a background of the story, because there have been a lot of conflicting court judgments about this particular issue. Can you give us an update on that?
Well, the update about the Osun State local government issue is that 2 days ago, elections were conducted in all the 30 local government areas of the state, and the governor sworn those elected chairmen and councillors in yesterday at around 12 noon. But he resumed yet. Don't forget that since believe that those chairmen were not reinstated by that court judgment, because judgment was not clear cut. I've also gone through the CTC, and the more I read it, the more confused I am. The judgment is neither here nor there. The judgment sits on the fence. It is true that the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, learned Fabimi, did say that election should not hold in Osun, and advised the governor to postpone the election, and reaffirming the fact that the Court of Appeal has indeed reinstated the APC chairman. But the governor reacted swiftly and said that the learned Sikh, the Attorney General of the Federation, is not a court of law, though at best is the chief law officer of the Federation. And his duty is to advise the President and the Federal Executive Council, and not to give instructions to states on what to do legally. And that he has his own Attorney General, he has his own team of lawyers who are also learned, Sikh, who are also competent. And they've advised that there's no such judgment that reinstated the sacked chairman. So as it were, there is neither here nor there. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. So the judgment is hanging in the balance. APC is laying claim to it. PDP is laying claim to it. Election has held in Osun as planned almost 7 months ago. It held on Saturday. The chairman has been sworn in yesterday. So as it were today, we are waiting for what will happen today. APC said this supposedly reinstated chairman should resume work. They actually took over some secretariat last week, but they retreated later. Now, it is instructed clearly that those chairmen should resume, but the governor said don't resume to avoid confrontation, to avoid the violence. So that is the situation as we speak now.
All right. But, you know, it is believed that the Minister for Justice, Fabemi, has everything in deck, more like he is the chief law officer of the country. And he must have also studied that judgment of the Court of Appeal that, you know, says that the APC chairman should be reinstated, because he wouldn't be saying those things, or he wouldn't be giving instructions saying that the elections for Saturday are illegal if he has not studied the Court of Appeal judgment. So don't you think...
the argument of PDP is this. Learned Sikh, the Attorney General of the Federation, and Minister of Justice, has been a long-standing lawyer for Governor Yetola before he became the Attorney General. So they believe he has a biased interest in that case. And don't forget that in the true federation, indeed, the Attorney General of the Federation is not supposed to give directives to subnationals. That is a distinct tier of government. When they perceive that he has interest, a virtue of being a long-standing lawyer for the XY governor of Osun State, who is the major justice personnel in this case, that is Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. They believe what he's doing now is in furtherance of his legal retainership with Governor Oyetola. That's the argument of PDP. And don't forget the fact that nobody has monopoly of knowledge. The lawyers have been dissecting, interrogating the judgment, and they've said clearly, why some will say those chairmen have been reinstated, some will say they have not been reinstated. That it was not clear cut. And that's another thing that the learned Sikh, the Attorney General of the Federation, did not make mention of. That's a subsisting court ruling by another political party, APP, in a suit. It's led by another party, APP. nobody had said anything about that. So actually, I think this legal firework, we add value to our jurisprudence as a nation. Let's see how it pans out eventually. You know that Supreme Court ruling that granted autonomy to local government was not absolute as it were up to today, because the law that empowers houses of assembly to legislate on the administration of local government has not been expunged from the Nigerian Constitution as amended. So as it were today, state governments, most states in Nigeria have what we call Ministry of Local Government. They are working hand in hand with local government to administer local government. We have the state pension, the state local government, the local government pension board at the state level. We have local government service commission at the state level. Teachers' salary at local government are paid by state government. So it's not clear cut as it were. It's just a confusion. I just don't feel what happened in Rivers between Fubara and Wiki. At the end of the day, you know what happened in Rivers.
Right.
There was a standoff. After days of back and forth, violence, naming, I mean, death occurred. At the end of the day, it got sorted out. So it's another repeat of the River State drama that we're having in Ocean. We just pray it doesn't go as wide, as violent as the River's own.
Well, how long should the local government chairman supposed to spend? I mean, normally, according to the Constitution, it's supposed to be 2 years per time.
2 years, yeah.
So
yeah,
when did they start and when is it supposed to expire?
Are you talking about the ones elected in 2022
yes.
by the government
yes.
of Goyetola?
Yes,
or the ones just elected on Saturday?
No, the one for 2022. It should have been expired like last year.
It expired by October this year.
October this year?
That's right.
But the election was done in 2022. Are they staying 3 years?
Right. No, it's actually, I think it was done in 2022, late 2022. It should expire by October this year.
Okay, so at what point did the governor had issues with them? Like it hasn't expired, so why?
It wasn't the governor that sacked them. What happened was that the PDP went to court to challenge the legality of the process that produced those chairmen. Not just the PDP, another political party to call the APM and APP. You know that when we discuss in the political space, we tend to limit it to PDP and APC. There are other political parties in Nigeria. Those political parties who felt their rights have been injured went to challenge the legality of the process, and they got judgment here that invalidated that election and said that they have been removed from office. So the governor now subsequently issued executive order to back their removal, rising from the judgment. That's how the drama started. You know, that we should not pretend, because I'm a journalist.
Right.
You know, the issue is this: most governor wants to take over local government administration in their state.
Yeah. Because
the line of separation between local government and state is very blurred. They are hand in glove, so they are together. No governor can operate successfully in a state without recourse to local government. So it is the desire of every governor to take control of local government administration. That was exactly what happened. That's the truth. From the north to the west, from the south to the east, every governor wants to manage and micromanage local government in their respective states. That's the truth. No pretenses about that, because you can't succeed as governor without recourse to local government.
Right. So basically the governor was kind of scared because we know there's an elections coming up and he needed to do that. I mean, I'm reading it as somebody who's...
It's not about that. I won't use the word scared. I will use the word scared. I will use that. Even you can say that if the government was scared, the APC is also very preparing for 2026. There's election coming up in 2026. And they believe that if they are men, their full soldiers are chairmen in the 30 local government areas of Osun State. That gives them some hope that governorship may come their way in 2026. And the governor also believe that that will be a booby trap for him if he allows that to scale through or to sail through. So that is just it. It's a power tussle. 2026 is the focus. That's the truth. You know, we have governorship. Osun governorship is an off-cycle election.
Yes.
It's going to happen in 2026.
Yes. I mean, you just opened up this particular discussion, and now it's clearer for everyone to see, basically. So it's the Court of Appeal that stated clearly, this is the Court of Appeal judgment that people don't have a hold of. More like it's confusing, right, in terms of the reinstatements or no reinstatement. All right, so I understand that even days before Saturday's election, there was something that happened. I think that 6 persons were killed. What really happened? And I mean,
what happened is that following the judgment of the Court of Appeal, confusion ensued thereafter. APC laying claim to victory, PDP laying claim to victory. APC gave a directive to those supposedly reinstated chairmen to resume work. NUGU, the body that to pretend over local government staff, withdrew the services of its members. So APC stormed some local government and they met stiff resistance from PDP. Violence ensued and people died. People lost their lives, which I believe was very unnecessary. Very, very unnecessary. They bring back the back and forth. I mean, I expected the police to have been an unbiased umpire and ensure that nobody had access by force and nobody laid claim to what does not belong to him, or nobody claimed what does not belong to them. So that's what happened. So people died. Very unfortunate. Osun has been a very, very, very peaceful state. Has been very peaceful until this judgment came on board.
All right. Do you think that Adeleke may be making a bit of a mistake going this route? Because so many persons think that if he has that influence, a political influence, I mean, everybody would think that because they are governors of the states, they would have...
I don't believe he's making a mistake. Honestly speaking, I don't believe. Politicians, they are strategists. They have their eyes on the ball.
Well, let me finish. Let me just finish, because, you know, many people will say, why doesn't he just influence the local government chairman to defect to the PDP? So it's easy for him, rather than, you know, basically, you know, getting into this murky waters. Because again, at the end of the day, it would become somewhat like what we have seen, say, in Rivers State. Nobody wants violence, but now we're seeing 6 persons killed, and then we're also looking at the 2026 elections, which is inside. So
I'm not at liberty to query his strategy. He has his own strategist. He has his own strategy. He's a political. He's the governor of the state. He sees what I don't see. He knows what I don't know. And I think let's grant him the indulgence of taking the decisions, little with APC for doing what they do. But two wrongs will never make it right. I must confess to you. It is wrong for anybody to want to forcefully take over the reins of power at any level. We don't live in a banana republic. This is Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's a nation governed by law. And we have the police that are supposed to guide such processes. So, and the issue of trying to woo those chairmen to convert, maybe an Akulian task. I don't know whether that's possible or not. But don't forget that the process for this election that ahead on Saturday started 7 months ago, in strict compliance with the dictate of the Electoral Act. Notices were displayed. People purchased from, even APC purchased form to contest the election. They just withdrew their participation 2 days before the election. It was a process that has been on before this roller coaster issue began. So I don't know. I don't want to blame you. I don't want to say that he knows what I don't know. And the APC people, it's power tussle, my brother, and it's always a murky space. It's power tussle. Everybody wants power, and nobody serves power a la carte. So you don't assume when it comes to power tussle. You put all your arsenal on the table and you deploy it so that. But that's why I expect the law enforcement agency to be an umpire, an arbiter, and do the needful to protect the sanctity of the Constitution and ensure that peace reigns supreme in every state in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We know that Mr. Adeleke, the executive governor of Osun State, is a jolly good fellow. I mean, everyone likes to be around him, given his dancing skill. But I just wanted to find out if, his dancing skill, extends to the delivering of good governance and the goods on the ground for Osun people. How would you describe it as someone who is on ground and a broadcast journalist in that state?
Let me confess to you, everybody has been surprised. If you come to Osun, you can do a Google map of Osun. And the kind of infrastructural development that this guy is bringing about is a shock. Some of those wrote him off. This guy will just be a jolly good fellow. He will be too light to do something serious. But infrastructure everywhere. He's bridging the natural gap. We've been lucky in Osun. Successive governors have done very well. Governors have done well. Adegbeshola did his bit. Oyetola did his bit. Oyetola did his bit. And he's really adding value to what they have done in terms of road infrastructure, in terms of payment of salary. Osun was a merged in salary issue about 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But now salaries are being paid. We don't hear teachers come protesting, pensioners protesting anymore, local government staff protesting. No. People have been paid this salary. Minimum wage has been affected in the state. And I think everybody has his own passion, his own way to relax. He loves to dance. Don't forget his nephew is Davido. His own son is